All right, guys, we are going to be changing out the brake master cylinder. If you've been watching the series, this one sticks. So I suspect it's original. Probably the brake fluid is hardening in it. And while I could have done a master cylinder rebuild kit for about $24 to $30 and take all that time, I decided to just get another master cylinder and lever combo on Amazon, and it looks pretty much like the original. You've got the banjo bolt, you've got your brake reservoir, you've got your little rubber to keep the air out, and even the lever has some nice adjustability, so everything looks pretty good. I'm going to get the brake line connected to this. I'm going to get some fluid in here, and then I'm going to see about bleeding the brakes and getting it functional. So that's about it. We'll slowly go through the process. Everything is lining up pretty good. We've got it bolted on there. I'm going to slowly tighten up this banjo bolt, and you want to make sure it goes between these two little prongs. And then from there, we're going to slowly add some fluid, and we'll obviously be pumping air through the system. But I got an idea, actually. I'm going to try to before I put this thing on, I'm going to try to pump some of the fluid through and get it all the way through the system here to where it's pushing out. And then I'll put this guy on, and then maybe I won't have as much air in the system. I may not have that much bleeding to do. I'll let you know how it works. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually fill this with brake fluid right now. And then I'm going to pump some of this fluid through here so that maybe we've got less air coming through here. And then when I actually connect the line, we just have less air in the system because everything was working fine. I do have a Mighty Vac. I can bleed the brakes. I just figure if I can avoid having to get a ton of air in there, that's not a bad idea. Now that's a little bit too much, so we may have an issue there. But let me get a little bit of that out, and then what I'm going to do is I'll come back and get that rubber stopper on there and then push some fluid. Guys, it worked from the extent of getting, for the purpose of getting some fluid through here. Basically, nothing was happening. Then once I pressurized it and I put my finger over the hole, I started feeling some suction and some pushing, and then oil started dripping out. So then I just, I'm getting the banjo bolt on because I want to try to just eliminate as much air in the system as possible. It might be easier to bleed and not create extra time and work and loss of fluid. So let's see how it goes. I'm going to tighten it up. I've gotten it on there. There is air in there, but I'm just going to pump the brake a few times and see if maybe the air comes out. I mean, it's starting to actually start to work. So it'd be really killer. You can see it's like pushing it. Sorry, I'm the worst at this. It's like pushing air through every time I pump. So that's actually giving me some brake action here as I do this. I'm getting more and more brake action. Not a ton, but I'm starting to feel some resistance. So sometimes with brakes, you know, you can just kind of leave them overnight and the bubbles will work themselves out, but it's going good. I mean, if I don't have to actually go in and bleed and deal with all that, really not bad. So each time I pump, I'm getting a little more, which is pretty nice. So we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there. Let's just keep going. Yep, I may add a little more in there, and then I'll let you know how it goes. We used the Amazon front brake master cylinder. It's got a little janky little cover on here, but I figure it's a good thing. Need to figure out a way to keep that on there. This thing was about $30, but I mean, it looks very similar to the OEM in terms of the way it's made and everything else. It's really nice. It has no paint on it, so it looks very much OEM. The top was just a little bit of a slate gray, which is actually very nice. And I actually didn't have to bleed the brake system at all. I just added some fluid to this, and I put my finger over it. I pumped it. I got fluid coming out of here, and then I just hooked up the banjo bolt and a few pumps with the brake lever, and here we are, man. No more sticky brake. No more funky green lever, and we're good, and it's awesome. So I'm very happy. I will let you guys know how it holds up, but it's not a bad deal, and certainly awesome that I didn't have to bleed the brakes. I may take this thing off. I don't know. It's kind of annoying just because it Doesn't really want to stay on, but I guess it's good to, you know, just keep some of the dirt and dust out of there. But yeah, it's done. And then today we also changed up the rear fender to make it a little more modern. So we used a 92 to 93 KX250 fender. So if you want to watch that process, go to the videos and you'll see it there. All right, guys, thanks. It looks like we're moving along.